I believe we are good to start. So first of all, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining in for today's session on CFA versus MBA, the final verdict. Before I jump into things, the reason why we're having today's session, is because on a daily basis, we face a lot of questions from students all across the country and globally about which course they should pick, whether it is the CFA course or whether it is the MBA course, mainly MBA in finance, which is it that will help you achieve what it is that you're seeking. So I hope through this webinar, I will be able to help you all out with a lot of clarity. And my goal will be that by the time we reach the end of this webinar, you all leave with a lot of clarity and make the best decision that you all can possibly make for yourselves. Before I jump into what we have lined up for today's discussion, we do have Zell members as a part of this meeting. So you all can use the Q&A box to post any questions that you all might have at any point in time throughout this session. And we will make sure that we answer the questions in the chat. If there are certain questions that I feel could help the audience at large, I will also take them up live during the course of this session. Towards the end of this session, I will leave some time for a live Q&A discussion. So towards the end of it, maybe if you all can stay back and raise your hand, I will allow you all to unmute and ask me as many questions as you all want. Before we start, I'm Rushal. I'm a part of the academics team at Zell Education. And my job at Zell Education is to make sure that students such as yourselves are able to pass the CFA level 1, level 2, level 3, all in one attempt. All right, let's get started. So, you all are here to understand a little bit more about CFA versus MBA. But before I jump into it, I want to talk a little bit about CFA, and then I want to talk a little bit about MBA, and then I will focus mainly on CFA. So CFA overview, right? So as you can see on your screen, the very first point, which is a very important point when it comes to decision making and is often overlooked, is the amount of time it takes to complete CFA. And this amount of time is spent as a part-time mode of studying. So what I mean by this is usually an average student, right? It'll take you around 2.5 to 3 years to complete your CFA, all three levels. But CFA can be pursued as a part-time course, which means that while you're studying and while you're investing these 2.5 years into studying CFA, you can have various things going on, while you're studying CFA. It could be a job that you might want to pursue and get some job experience on your resume. It could be another course that you might want to pursue, or you might be someone who, likes to live their life in a slightly relaxed manner. And a course like CFA will allow that because it's a part-time study. It's not a full-time study. And it will take you anywhere between 2.5 to 3 years to complete all three levels. Well, technically, you can complete it within 18 months, but I would say that is extremely challenging. A more realistic goal for all of you all is 2 to 2.5 years to complete CFA. The second most important thing in this discussion is that CFA, specializes in investment analysis, portfolio strategy, and asset allocation. I don't want to dive too deep into these roles right now because I will jump into them later on as I talk about the CFA subjects at hand. What is it that you all will be studying, so on and so forth. So I'm going to touch this topic later. But just for your reference, these are very, very, very core finance related jobs that you would be working in once you become a CFA. Usually when people complete their CFA level 1, they are able to get into these roles at an entry level. By the time you complete your CFA level 3, you are able to, progress quicker through these roles. Finally, and one of the most important points again that you need to know about this course is CFA is accepted by 28 plus countries to achieve certain licensing requirements. Now, I'm not sure if you all are aware, but in India, if you want to, manage portfolios, or if you want to, get into mutual funds, you can't just pick it up and do it because you're good at it, right? You need certain licenses to make that happen. Now, these licenses are delivered by various governing bodies in the country. Similarly, if you want to make your career outside India, CFA is accepted in over 28 different countries, and CFA is the requirement to meet these licensing requirements. Okay, with that being said, I think these are three important points you should know about CFA before I jump into my discussion. Someone is asking in the chat how long is the session today, Ahan. So I'll try and keep it between 45 minutes to an hour of me delivering the session. And after that, I will leave the session open for you all to ask me as many questions as you all want. Okay, now talking a little bit about MBA, right? So MBA usually takes 2 years to complete, but MBA is a full-time study, which means often you will have to go to the campus of the institute. You will have to stay at the campus, and you can only study MBA. You cannot do other things on the side, as I talked about when I was speaking about CFA. So MBA is a full-time study. Now you cannot pursue a job alongside your MBA, especially MBA from top institutes in the world. They require they are a full-time education. So you cannot pursue a job on the side usually. It is very difficult for you to pursue another course on the side because you are practically left with no time to study for anything else. So it is 2 years. It's slightly less or equal to CFA, but it is full-time study. CFA is a part-time course. MBA, even if it's MBA in finance, will cover a plethora of different subjects. You will almost certainly learn about various marketing subjects. You will learn about various sales related subjects. You will study about supply chain management and operations and all of these things. And yes, finance will be a key component in your education if you choose finance to be that. But you will also be studying a lot of subjects where you might not want to necessarily make your career. If finance is where you want to get to, maybe the quickest way to get there might be CFA. Now, like I said in point 2, point 3 is pretty much just stating the same thing again. MBA stresses on broad knowledge of core business concepts. Ultimately, you're going to go on to manage businesses if you've completed your MBA, whereas CFA is a more specialized course in finance. Okay, with that being said, guys, any questions that you all might have, please put it in the Q&A box. I will also stop and take some questions from YouTube from time to time. So yeah, just being clear, leave questions in the Q&A box if you have any so far. Okay, with that being said, guys, I want to talk about cost versus reward. Which course is it that you should pursue? Which one would better aid you and help you get to where you want to be? Now, when I talk about cost versus reward, I'm sure a lot of y'all might have done cost benefit analysis and so on and so forth. So what we usually look at is the investment that you're going to make and the return that you're going to get on the investment. Now, on average, to complete all 3 levels of CFA, right? This includes level 1 exam fee, registration fee, level 2 exam fee, level 3 exam fee, and your training fee or your tuition fees, whatever you want to call it. It is usually less than $5,000. So if I am to talk in rupee terms, you're going to complete the entire course in less than 4 lakh rupees or thereabouts. Now, when I talk about MBA, the real value of an MBA comes in when you pursue it from a top institute. So I would, of course, recommend that you do it from a top 10 institute sort of a thing. But if you look at the fees that you have to pay to complete your MBA, it ranges from anywhere between $60,000 to $100,000, which, if I'm again to talk in rupee terms, comes to anywhere between 50 lakh to 80 lakh rupees. So that is the investment that you're going to make upfront. It can be split, of course, in different durations, but that is the overall investment that you're looking at. When you look at the reward, or rather the return that you're going to get on your investment, you will often notice that CFAs get paid more than people who've done their MBA. So as you can see in my point 2, I have noted down certain figures for y'all. These figures have come from various surveys that have been conducted in India and globally. So that is the basis for my numbers. So as you can see, in the long run, CFA will pay almost as much as an MBA, if not more. So it definitely justifies your your initial investment. And because your initial investment is so low, it is fairly you will probably end up recouping it fairly quickly once you start working. I have also left a fun fact for you all towards the bottom of your screen. Just before I get to that, Vikram in the chat is saying the grant has been given from UGC, so we are able to do 2 courses and there is relaxation being given to the same. Vikram, I do agree with you. Of course, you can pursue 2 courses at once. My point is, because it's a full-time education, because you're at campus all the time, because you have been given so many assignments to complete and you're always in lectures, it is very unlikely that you're going to have time to study 2 courses at once. That's all I'm talking about. Anyway, the fun fact that I've left in for all of y'all. So if you look at the amount of money that y'all are sort of investing in pursuing your MBA from a top institute, it is not very often that an Indian average household will be able to pay these fees upfront. So what most students do when they want to pursue their MBA is that they take out a loan. And if you just look at this is of course for the US. This is not an Indian figure that I have, but in the US, the amount of debt, so debt is the money that you borrow for MBA graduates, is upwards of $71,000. So you are sort of in debt before you've even started your journey as a finance professional. Of course, this is not me saying that CFA is what you should go for, or MBA is something that you should not go for because it's very expensive. But I'm just putting all the available information out there in front of you so you can make an informed decision. With that being said, guys, I want to jump a little bit and talk about the jobs that are offered to folks in the CFA domain and folks who've completed their MBA. Now, I want to talk a little bit about what it is that CFAs do. I don't want to jump too much into each and every single job that I've listed on the screen. I will talk about it later. But what it is that an MBA essentially works on 2 things, right? They work on growing companies, which means getting money into the company, which is investment, by the way, or they work on divestitures. Now, divestitures are the opposite of investments, right? So when you've made an investment and later down the line, what an MBA will do is they will look at the investment that you've made and they will decide, okay, this has not worked out. We might as well split, or, there are various different options that you can have. There are spin-offs, there are split ups, all of these things available. So an MBA usually works on those aspects. So corporate development is one of them. I'm sure you all know what private equity is. Private equity is getting the money in and deploying that money in startups and so on and so forth. That's probably one of the most popular things happening in the world right now. But if you look at CFA, there's investment banking, there's portfolio management, right? I want to focus on these 2 things first. Portfolio management is a key subject for CFA candidates throughout their journey in CFA. So when I get to the CFA subjects, you all will probably see the weightage increase in the portfolio management subject from level 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. So these are mainly the job roles available to CFAs and MBAs out there. Don't worry, I'm going to cover this in a lot more detail when I get to that aspect of the session. Now, before I get into the next segment, where I mainly want to focus on CFA, are there any questions that you guys want me to answer? So, someone is asking if one can get a finance job straight after MBA in finance like IB, why should one do CFA then? Well, it is a very subjective choice. Honestly, it all depends on where you want to end up at the end of your education. So if it's core finance that you want to end up in, then maybe CFA will help you get there with making an investment that's lower compared to an MBA. But of course, it comes down to where you want to end up. And that is a very subjective question. Can BCom students do the CFA, or is it only for CA candidates? No, there is absolutely no restrictions of that sort. BCom candidates can pursue CFA. I will get to the eligibility in a minute. So hopefully I will be able to answer your question better then. Fees at Zell for level 1. I will get to that towards the end of the webinar, Kunal. I have taken BCom marketing and doing CFA simultaneously instead of BCom in accounts. Will it affect my career? I wouldn't say it would. Honestly, marketing and CFA is a good combo. A lot of people pay a lot of money to get that marketing knowledge in. So I wouldn't say it'll affect you at all. Someone is asking if it makes sense to do MBA in finance after CFA since we have already gotten deep core finance knowledge. Yes, it's a great option. The reason for that is MBA helps you with a lot of polish. I don't know if you all have heard of this stereotype, but usually why people do why people do MBA always at the end is because they want to get polish. They know everything, they know all the concepts, they know everything that you need to know. Now they just want to add polish. They want to get groomed better, they want to speak better, they want to sell better, they want to manage better, which is why they go and do an MBA. So it is absolutely a good option. Is MBA or CFA more complementary to US CMA? Jaidev is asking. Well, Jaidev, CMA is a very broad course. The part one of that particular course covers a lot of cost accounting, and part two of that course covers strategic financial management. So if it's finance that you want to get into, maybe I would look at CFA if I were you. But if it is management or CXO positions that you want to get into, except maybe CFO, then maybe look at MBA. Okay. With that being said, guys, there's a lots of questions. There's loads of questions about pursuing CFA or MBA or CMA or what is the eligibility. So I'm going to jump into the next part of the session, which is mainly me talking about the CFA course. I'm going to take you all through the entire CFA course, and hopefully I will answer every single question that you all have. So I want to talk a little bit about the CFA course, the overview of the course. I know we talked a little bit earlier, but that was basically the job roles, the investment that you're going to make. It is a part-time education, so on and so forth. Now, I'm really going to talk to you about why CFA is one of the fastest growing qualifications in the world, finance qualifications in the world, as you can see on the screen. So first and foremost, CFA is the #1 course in finance and investment management. Why? Because, well, like I said, it is accepted in 28 plus countries to avoid to achieve your licensing requirements. So that is #1. Besides these 28 countries, in a lot of other countries, CFA is often regarded as the golden benchmark in the world of finance. The course is recognized in US, India, UK. I'm sure you all know CFAs in your network, or you all know CFAs in your family who are working in all of these multinational companies at amazing roles. You tend to complete your CFA within 2.5 years, like I said earlier. And the best part is you can complete your level 1 before you even graduate, which means that by the time you're in your, by the time you graduate, you could potentially have level 1 under your belt, and you could have a job where you work for a year or two, and you can have some work experience under your belt as well. It is often said to be the gateway to a career in finance and investment banking. I will get to that later. Exactly what it is that investment bankers do, so on and so forth. I will get to that. Now, talking a little bit about eligibility, I want to explain to you all how the eligibility for the CFA course works. Now, if you're a graduate, you need not worry about anything. You just need to have a valid international passport. It does not matter which stream you've graduated in. It could be arts, it could be commerce, it could be science, it could be BCom. As long as you're a graduate, it does not matter what particular discipline of study you graduated in. So BCom and journalism and engineering, everything is valid when it comes to graduates to pursue CFA. If you're a non-graduate, what do you do? Well, what you do is you are now able to write your CFA level 1 exam when you're in your second year of undergraduation, or second last year rather, from completing your undergraduation, right? So if you're in your engineering, you can write your CFA level 1 exam in your year 3. If you're in your BCom, you can probably write it in your year 2. So as long as you're in your second last year of undergraduation, you can write your exam. So if you are someone who's gone through a different route of education, you can also be eligible through 4 years of work experience. Let's say you're someone who's not graduated, and you chose a different path in life, as long as you have 4 years of work experience, you're eligible. Along with these two things, you would need a valid international passport. So again, to reiterate, be in the second last year of your education, or if you've not graduated or never pursued graduation, you can be eligible through 4 years of work experience, as long as you have a valid international passport. I hope I've covered eligibility sufficiently for everyone. If you all have any questions related to eligibility, I am open to taking them right now before I jump into curriculum and examination. Someone is saying, can we pursue CFA level 1 while doing BTech? Yes, you can. If we do both CFA and MBA, is it more beneficial? And does CFA deal with deep analysis of stock market? Yes, it does. So CFA will help you. So through a subject called financial statement analysis, you will learn fundamental analysis of different companies. CFA also covers charts and so on and so forth, usually things that you see in technical analysis. So yes, it will help you. Besides, you have subjects like portfolio management and wealth planning that deal with these things. So yes, you will. A student who's studying CA and has done CMA US, is it good for them to do CFA? Sure. If you want to make a career in finance, yes, it is a good choice. My son is doing integrated MBA 5 years and it's in the second year. Can he do CFA level 1? If you can let me know what it is that your son did for undergrad, I can probably answer that question better. Nitin. Are additional skills like Python and are they a must? No, they're not a must. Coding you can pick up later. It's definitely the way of the world right now. So it's beneficial if you pick it up, but it's not a must-have. Can I do CFA after MBA, Vineet? Yes, you can. Although if you are in a decision-making position right now, I would probably recommend that you do it the other way around. So Nitin, what I would recommend to you is, you're saying after 12th, right? So what I would recommend you do is, you can reach out to us on the number that you see at the bottom of your screen, and you can have a one-to-one discussion with our counselors, or you could come down to our office if you're in Delhi, Bangalore, or Mumbai. You can visit us in person and we can definitely help you out. How good should a candidate be in calculus to crack CFA level 3? You need to know the basics, I would say. At least I know level 1 for a fact does not require you to be very good with maths. Yes, you will need components of it in different subjects, quants more specifically, but you do have your Texas Instruments BA2 plus financial calculator, which will probably aid you. There's a lot of calculations that are made redundant because of the calculator. Okay, perfect. Thanks for the questions, guys. Someone in the YouTube chat, Kashika, is asking me what is the best combination according to me. So if you can just let me know where it is that you are right now in terms of your education, I can make a recommendation to you. Perfect. I want to talk a little bit now about the CFA curriculum, right? What is it that you're going to study? Talking about jobs and talking about the scope and everything is great. But what is most important is what it is that you're going to learn in this course. So first of all, before I jump into it, as you can see, there is 3 levels that you need to pass in order to earn your CFA charter, or to say to people basically that have completed CFA, you need to clear 3 levels. There are 10 subjects in levels 1 and 2. In level 3, you only have 7 subjects that you need to clear. You do not have to write 10 examinations. You write all of the subjects in one single day. I will get to the exam structure in a minute. It's essentially you writing all the subjects at once. You do not have to write individual exam for each subject. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the subjects. The very first subject, and it is usually the first subject that we teach candidates when they join Zell, and that subject is quantitative methods. Now, when people hear quants, usually people are very worried. And their first question is usually, sir, I'm not very good at maths. Can I do quants? So to answer your question, and I think someone asked this earlier, when I talk about mathematics, I am not talking about calculus. I am talking about probability, and I'm talking about statistics. So that's what quants is going to teach you. We call it quants. So the very first topic that you study in quantitative methods, it's called time value of money. And it's a very interesting topic, and it builds your foundation for studying the other topics, because it's going to teach you present value, future value, all of these different things. As you move through quants, the second subject is all about data. How do you organize, how do you visualize, and how do you analyze data? That's your second chapter. Similarly, when you progress to the quants textbook, you will realize it's not about mathematics, it's about statistics. The very final chapter in the quant subject is called hypothesis testing, where you're basically learning about how to make an assumption and how to prove whether that assumption is correct, incorrect, or basically get to a judgment. So that is quants in a nutshell for you. It's all about statistics. It will lay the foundation for you to go on and study other subjects. It is an extremely crucial subjects in the. It is one of the most crucial subjects in the level 1 curriculum, and the weightage of the quants subject is 8 to 12% in level 1. It drops slightly in level 2, and in level 3 you do not study quants. Now, when I get to financial statement analysis, well, financial statement analysis, as a finance professional, you will be expected to know how to read P&L statements. You will be expected to know how to read balance sheets. You will be expected to know how to read cash flow statements. Now, in financial statement analysis, you learn how to study a balance sheet, study a P&L statement, and study a cash flow statement. And that is pretty much what it entails. Now, you do not need to know all the journal entries for doing things, because that is not what you're going to end up doing. But you're just going to learn in financial statement analysis ki, okay, how do I read a balance sheet? How do I make sense out of a balance sheet? Because eventually when you learn ratios, right? So ratios are the basis for you to make decisions. There's liquidity ratios, there's leverage ratios, there's all sorts of ratios. But for you to calculate these ratios, you need to know which number in the balance sheet I need to pick, or which number from the P&L I need to pick. So all of that is covered in financial statement analysis. The next subject, again, is a very scoring subject. It's ethics. Ethics are extremely important. And if you want to get to a position in your career where you hold, or where rather you're held in very high regard, and garner a lot of respect from people, then it's very important that you're ethical. Now, there are certain ethical standards issued by the CFA Institute, and that is what you're going to learn in ethics. It is a very scoring subject in level 1. In fact, I will go as far as saying often ethics is your subject that makes or breaks your exam, because if you score well in ethics, chances are you will pass the exam and you make up certain deficit that you might have. Now, the fourth subject is economics. Again, very interesting, because finance is influenced by a lot of economical factors. I'm not sure if you all are aware of floating exchange rates, fixed exchange rates, but governments of companies and various political landscapes have huge parts to play in these things. And it is very important that we have a fundamental analysis, a fundamental understanding of economics for us to be able to understand all these finance concepts. Okay, that being said, I want to jump into corporate issuers. I will break corporate issuers into a very simple language for all of y'all, because I don't want to make it sound very intimidating. So corporate issuers is all about, okay, let's say you have an idea to start a business. Corporate issuers deals with how do you get money into the business? So how do you raise capital? How do you manage that capital? And eventually, how do you grow capital? That is all corporate issuers deals with. It deals with raising money, managing money, growing money. Raising money can be done through various methods. I don't know if you all watch Shark Tank, which is very popular in India right now, but you know, all these businessmen come to raise money and they offer equity for cash, or then these sharks will often tell them, okay, I can't do equity, or rather I can't do all equity. I'll give you certain, they will say I can't do all cash. So let's do certain bits of the deal in debt. So you're going to learn about all of that in corporate issuers to make it very simple for all of y'all. By the way, someone is asking if ethics and professional standard part is fully theory. Yes, Harsh, it is fully theory. Do we study micro or macroeconomics? Yogesh, it's a combination of both. They've also added geopolitics now into the economic syllabus. So you study both. Is CFA helpful to invest into stocks in personal life? I would say yes, it is extremely helpful. Someone is asking what are the percentages 8 to 12. I didn't understand. Okay, Abhishek, so you have questions in your exam, right? So all of them combined make up 100% of the exam. So what it basically means is 8 to 12%. So 8 or 12 questions out of those 100 will come from quantitative methods from the 100%. 13 to 17%, anywhere in that range, will come from financial statement analysis. So it is basically telling you how many questions you will see in the exam from that particular subject out of total questions. Someone is asking, after graduation, how many years do you have to do articles? I don't understand what you mean by that. So maybe you can just rephrase and send me, Mahesh. I'll be able to answer your question. Someone in the YouTube comment section is asking, is ACCA and CFA a better combo, and does it provide synergy? Well, yes, it does, but there's also a lot of differences. They go hand in hand if you want to pursue both. They do have synergies for sure, but there's also a lot of things that are very different in the two. But they do go hand in hand if you want to pursue both of them. Okay, moving on to the next subject, which is equity investments, mainly focuses on equity, and that is about it. It mainly focuses on. When I come to fixed income is all about debt. Fixed income is about bonds, it's about debentures. Are you all able to hear me, guys? Are you all able to hear me? If you all can just quickly let me know if you all are all able to hear me. Okay, I'm assuming that I am audible. So when I come to fixed income is all about debt. So bonds, debentures, all of these things. It also has a component of credit rating agencies and different bonds and what they are rated. So there's AAA, AA, all of that. So that is what fixed income covers. Now, alternative investments is probably one of the most interesting subjects in the curriculum. It is all about non-traditional methods of investment. So there's real estate, there's all of I don't know if NFT technically classifies as an alternative investment, but it deals with any investments that don't fall in your traditional bracket. So real estate is probably one of the most important, or rather one of the most relatable examples that I can think of. Now, when you come to derivatives, so derivatives are basically financial instruments that help you mitigate risk. So I don't know if you all have heard of futures and options and swaps and all of these different things. They basically help you. Mitigate your risk. So that is what derivatives deals with. And finally, portfolio management and wealth planning. So when you have all of this knowledge, how it is that you're going to manage a portfolio for someone. So there's different theories available, and that is a part of the CFA curriculum. For investing and managing portfolios and managing wealth. The most important and interesting thing here is in level 1, the subject only has a weightage of 5 to 8%, which jumps up to 10 to 15% in level 2. And in level 3, it is 35 to 40%, which means practically a little bit less than half of your paper is all about portfolio management and wealth planning. Okay. Now, talking a little bit about, can you please provide some info about career opportunities with regards to derivatives specifically? Yogesh, I will answer this question when I cover the jobs part for you all. In CFA, do we need to do articleship? No, you don't need to do an articleship. However, after you've completed all 3 levels, you will need to meet a certain period of work experience in order for you to get your charter. Is portfolio management a theoretical subject? Vineet, it is a combination of theory and practical. When I talk about various, theories in the world, or various suggestions that a lot of people have made about how portfolio should be managed, that part of it is theory, yes, but the actual calculations and everything is the practical aspect of it. So it's a mixture of theory and practical. Can we prepare doing a job? Yes, you can. You just have to be dedicated and make a good schedule for yourself, and yeah, you should be able to do it. Vaibhav is asking what kind of a job will I be able to get after level 1? So after level 1, you typically get entry level roles. So it's usually equity research analyst and so on and so forth. So it's usually entry level roles. You're usually working with seniors who are more tenured in the industry, and after that you move on to take their positions, if I can say that. If you are a CA student and we do articleship in that, will that work for getting the CFA membership? So why don't you connect with us and explain your case specifically to us on the number that you see on your screen, and allow us to answer your question one-to-one. Does the work ex need to be in the field of finance? Typically, yes, but there's also a lot of exceptions to that. So, Veda, if you can give us a call on the number that you see at the bottom of your screen, we will be able to help you. Kunal, we are based in Andheri. Yes, if you want to come down. Okay, someone in the YouTube comments is asking, can an average student clear CFA? Well, yes, because when I talk about pass rates for CFA, as you can see on your screen, I'll cover all of this in a minute. But usually 4 to 5 out of 10 students who write the exam end up passing. So as long as you know your concepts and you're dedicated and you've prepared well for the exam, you can pass the exam for sure. Also, by the way, for those watching on YouTube, the link to our website and the number to contact us is in the description box in case you want to give us a call. Kunal, I will answer your question, but we have a lot of different offerings. So why don't you give us a call, and we can probably see which slot works out best for you and assign you to one of those batches. Perfect. So now I'm gonna jump and talk about a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about the exam pattern and structure. Well, so all 3 levels are basically divided into morning and evening sessions. So you might have 4 subjects in the first session, 6 subjects in the second session. However, as I mentioned earlier, you're gonna write all 10 subjects in one day. It's not like a college exam or a school exam where one day you have one subject only. You wrap up the entire CFA level exam in one day. Whether it is level 1, 2, or 3, you wrap it up in one day. It's split into 2 sessions, morning and evening. Each session is 2 hours and 15 minutes, which makes the total duration of the exam 4 hours and 30 minutes. Now, the pattern for each level is different. So I'm going to take you all through that. Level 1 is a fully MCQ based exam. There are a total of 180 MCQs. So in your first session, you're going to have 90 MCQs. In your second session, again, you're going to have 90 MCQs. So you're going to attempt a total of 180 MCQs in your level 1. There is no negative markings. So, certain parts of it you can get through by making educated guesses and so on and so forth, since there's no negative marking. Now, the pass rate for level 1 exam globally, this is the global average pass rate, is 45%, meaning out of every 10 students who write this exam, 4 to 5 of them will end up clearing their examination. When you go to level 2, the pass rate jumps from 45% to 50%, which means now 5 on 10 students are clearing their exam, and previously it was 4 usually. And when you get to level 3, it further jumps up to 55%, meaning 5 to 6 out of 10 students will now clear their exam. So if you clear level 1, chances are you will also end up clearing levels 2 and 3. And that these pass rates are the global average for the last decade or so. So these pass rates have been consistent over a decade. And so it's an exam that an average student can pass, to answer your question. Gonna stop and take some questions because I see a lot of questions coming in. Prep time for a level 1 student for arts background, Sarthak is asking. Sarthak, it would take you slightly longer than a commerce student, but not too long. I think maybe a few extra hours to get your foundational understanding in place, and then you're good to go. So not too much more than a commerce student, but a little bit more, yes. So if you want to know the exact amount of hours, I think what you can do is you can call us on the number at the bottom of your screen, And based on certain questions that we ask you, we'll be able to tell you exactly how many hours you will be needing to, prepare for the exam. Perfect. Now jumping into when you can write your CFA exam. So level 1 exams happen four times a year. They happen in February, May, August, and November. So if you want to write your level 1 exam in 23, well, you're slightly late for February. You are slightly late for May, but you are not too late for August or November. So if you start today, you probably have enough time to prepare for level 1 and appear for your exam in August and or November. Ideally go for August. The sooner you finish it, the better. But you also have the chance to write it in November in case you feel August might be difficult. Now, the way these exams happen is CFA Institute releases CFA, the institute releases certain dates where the exam is going to happen. So, for example, they might say, okay, this year the level 1 exams are happening between 17th to 22nd of Feb. Just giving you an example. So, you have to book your exam slot in that time span to write your exam. Level 2 exams happen 3 times a year. So, the months are May, August, and November. February, there's no exam that happens for level 2. So if you're going to write your level 1 exam in August, you can probably go for your level 2 exam in May, and you should be able to clear it that way. Finally, level 3 exams happen twice a year. They happen in February and August. So you can plan accordingly. They only happen twice a year. These are at the discretion of the CFA body. So they decide when the exams are going to happen. So if there's any changes of this, of course, we will keep you all posted. Okay, now talking a little bit about CFA at Zell. Someone is asking if there is something that we can directly appear for level 2 after graduation. No, there's no exemptions with CFA. So you'll have to write all the levels. I'm in my final year of graduation, confused between November or Feb attempt 23 and 24 respectively. I would say go for November 23 rather than waiting till Feb 24 if you have the time to prepare. Honestly, November 23 is also a little on the pessimistic side. See if you can go for the attempt before that. Are you also a student mentor for students who have already enrolled for CFA Level 1 at Zell? Anubhav, I'm not a student mentor. I'm a part of the academics team. But we do have a dedicated student mentor team at Zell who are just as informed as I am about these things. And, they handle student counseling on a day-to-day basis. So they will be your assigned student mentors, and they will pretty much, handle that bit for you. But I am also available whenever you need me. I'm available through LinkedIn, or you can directly reach out to me through email. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about CFA at Zell, and I will ensure I leave plenty of time for you all to ask me any questions you all want towards the end of this webinar. Now, at Zell, we train for all 3 levels, of course. Levels 1, 2, and 3. So you have everything in-house. You need not look for training elsewhere. We provide live training and recorded sessions. So say you're a working professional who's enrolled with Zell, right, for level 1, and you might not always have the time to attend live sessions. So what you can do is through your learning management system, which I'll get to in a minute, you can watch the recorded session of this class that you've missed, and you can watch it at 2x speed. So a 4-hour class, typically you are able to wrap up in 2 hours if you watch it at 2x speed, and hence, minimize the amount of time it takes for you to study or go through concepts quicker. Now at Zell, we have all CFA qualified faculties. We would not want you to learn from anyone who's not gone through the rigor of the exam or not attempted the CFA exam, because it's very important that they understand the landscape of the course. While someone else who has not done the course might have knowledge of everything you need to know, they've not gone through the exam themselves, right? So they are not best placed to give you certain advice, which is why we have all CFA, all the faculties at Zell who train for CFA are CFA qualified themselves. We have weekday and weekend training. So depending on your schedule or availability, you can opt for either of these offerings that we have. And of course, at the end of your course or throughout your course, rather, say if you're a semi-qualified CFA, you've done your level one, we can provide placement assistance to you. We have tie-ups with various companies in the country that come to us with various job profiles that they have, and we in turn pass it along to our students, and you can then apply and hopefully get the job. The next part of it, I want to talk about the learning management system that we have at Zell. It's called Nimbus, right? So we do not want your education to be in different places. So what I mean by this is, we do not want you attending your lectures through Zoom, watch the recordings through YouTube, then attend your mock tests through maybe Google Forms. We've basically, what we've done is we've curated everything for you in one place. Now, this is possible through technology, of course, Nimbus, like I said. So this learning management system has tests and mocks for you guys. These are self-evaluated tests and mocks with feedback. So you can go through them at your convenience. You don't have to wait for anyone to check them and give them to you, right? They are all self-evaluated. We also have 300 plus hours of integrated learning. This includes your live learning, but this also includes pre-learning. Now, I think someone asked me earlier, if I'm an art student, how much longer will it take me to prepare? So to answer your question specifically, what I mean by pre-learning is we set your base for certain concepts. Now, if you're an art student, you might not necessarily know how balance sheets are made. What are the different items that go into the balance sheet? Why do they go into the balance sheet and not the P&L statement? So all of this is covered in the pre-learning. It will basically set a base for you, so then you can understand the actual CFA concepts better. So your live training and your pre-learning makes up 300 plus hours of integrated learning. We restrict our batch size to a very optimal number. Basically, we do not want to put 200 to 50 students in one class. That is not a good learning experience. We limit it to a very reasonable number, which is usually in the range of 50s to 60s, and sometimes less, right? So that makes for a more ideal learning experience. Finally, I want to talk about the one-to-one mentorship. So I believe someone in the chat had asked me if I'm a student mentor. So what he means by student mentor is, the minute you enter the system, right, you are assigned a dedicated student mentor. Now, this individual is going to be with you throughout your journey, right? They're going to guide you with everything you need, whether it is any assistance you require from the faculty, whether it is something on the admin front where you want to book your exam or you want to do your registration, or simply job opportunities, right? When you get job opportunities, you might want to ask your mentor, okay, tell me, how do I prepare my resume? And they will be there to take care of all of this for you. So your focus at all times will be on preparing for the exam. Finally, through all of these things, we have managed to achieve a 80% pass rate for the CFA Level 1 exam, which means that out of 10 candidates who appear for CFA Level 1, 8 of them end up clearing the exam. If you contrast this with the global average pass rate, which was around 45%, if I remember correctly, or 40%, we have basically doubled the pass rate for candidates studying at Zell. Okay, I'll stop and take a few questions from all of y'all. What is the total fee of level 1 coaching at Zell? So the fee is in the range of 28 to 35,000 Indian rupees. But of course, depending on the offering that you go for, you can get in touch with us and we'll tell you. If we complete CFA and then go for ACCA, do we get any exemptions? So CFA Vedha has no exemptions at all. So regardless of what you've pursued, you'll have to write all 3 levels. Comparison between CFA and CFP. I'm assuming you're talking about financial planner. So financial planning is one aspect of finance, whereas CFA is a more broad study while going in depth into finance. So I would say CFA covers all aspects of finance. CFP covers one aspect of finance or a few aspects of finance. Does it make MBA better because of the network and peer group? Considering it is a tier 1 institute? Yes. So MBA degrees are extremely prestigious and they are very well respected in the country, especially MBAs that you do from top institutes for two reasons. One is the placement, the caliber of the companies coming in for placements at these institutes, and the second is the network. So yes, Mayur, to answer your question, it does not make MBA better than CFA, but it is one of the pros, yes. 7 to 10 p.m. is for weekdays or weekends. We usually train in that slot for the weekdays. How to get hired in a top firm like Goldman Sachs or JP Morgan? Well, have the skill. You acquire the skill through education. So once you have the required skill to go for these roles, I guess just find an opening and apply for it. They also require a lot of soft skills, honestly. To answer your question, they will require you to have strong communication skill. They will require you to be technically sound when it comes to things like Excel and your concepts. They will require all of that. So I would say study vigorously, pick up different things on the side. By the way, at Zell, we do offer a free Excel course for all of y'all, who enroll with us. So Excel is definitely going to help you secure a job. It's a very important requirement. Can CFA be done with college? Yes, it can be done. That's what most folks do. What all skills are required to be a CFA apart from degree? Well, you need deep understanding of a lot of concepts. You need a good understanding of global affairs. You need good communication skills. You need good interpretation skills. When you read a question, you need to know exactly what the question demands, and that will ultimately lead to you passing the exam and getting the qualification. Okay, I want to jump into the final few segments of today's webinar. And I want to talk about the content that we have at Zell, right? So we've prepared interactive content for all of y'all. We recognize that studying through a textbook works for a lot of people, but at the same time, it does not work for a lot of people, which is why we've curated interactive content or gamified content for all of y'all. So at the end of each topic, you can go through this interactive content and read through everything that you've learned. And it makes for a better learning experience, because usually visually it helps you memorize things better than just reading about it. We also have our own content at Zell to train you for CFA levels 1, 2, and 3. We have our own web learning management system, Nimbus. You can also download an app through Play Store or App Store, depending on which platform it is that you're using. And the best part about the content that we've curated, and the reason it is separate from or rather different from other providers in the market, is there's a lot of examples in our books that you can relate it. Okay. We've laced it with a lot of examples. For example, if you're talking about this particular concept, which is shareholder theory, we've put an example of PNB housing finance. Now, this is doing two things for you. Not only is it making the concept more relatable for you because you know what PNB housing finance is, but you're also learning something that will eventually help you get better at global affairs or help you have more knowledge in this particular field. So our books are better suited for Indian candidates who are used to learning in a certain way. And we've made the books to ensure that your learning experience remains constant with how you studied so far. Okay, now I'll stop and take a few questions again. I've already answered the question about MBA. I'm going to answer some unique questions if there's any. Manav is asking which option is better, CFA first or MBA. I would suggest CFA first and then MBA, but again, that's a subjective question. All right. Is CFA a pressurizing job? Well, to answer your question, it is a pressurizing job, but it's also a very rewarding job. So you have to do the cost benefit analysis, but you have more pros than you have cons. How good is FRM along with CFA? I think it's an excellent choice. But FRM is again one aspect of finance, which is risk. CFA covers more aspects of finance or other almost every aspect of finance. Vineet is saying he wants some help with soft skills. Of course, Vineet will help you. The student mentor will help you. Is there any gamification feature in LMS like CFA site so that we can test our skills? Swaraj, it's there in the articulated content that we have. So that has a lot of little interactions that you can have, and it is basically gamified, yes. So you can solidify your concepts. Okay. Does CA gel up well with CFA? Yes, it's a very good combination. You have the best of both worlds, basically. After graduation, can I apply for level 2? I'm assuming you mean, can you write level 2? Yes, you can after you've graduated. Okay. Okay, I want to talk a little bit now about the scope of CFA in India and abroad. So the very first bit that you see on your screen is investment banking. What do bankers do? Do any of y'all know what investment banking is before I sort of try and explain it? Okay, so investment banking is basically, okay, let's say there is a company that wants to raise enough money for it to go public. Right now, it's a private company that wants to go public, get listed and all of that. They will basically approach an investment banker who will help them with this entire process. It could be raising funds, it could be helping them get listed on the stock exchanges in the country, so on and so forth. That's what investment banking is all about. So you are basically working with companies and you're working with other powerful individuals or companies and getting them together, raising money, so on and so forth. Financial consultancy, I'm sure you all know what financial consultancy is. Because of your knowledge in the field of finance, you're basically making advice to people about how they should be managing their finances. If you're working in a company in financial consultancy, you have clients, who you're advising, so on and so forth. Risk advisory is all about either internal risk or external risk. Again, you're making recommendations to people about how they can mitigate their risk. There is investment strategy, asset management, credit management. Honestly, I don't like talking about the roles a lot. The reason for that is, I would prefer that you go through the textbook yourselves, you understand the concepts, and then you really understand what it is that you like. But credit management, so I'm not sure if you all have heard of CRISIL in India. So CRISIL, what they do is, they're a credit rating agency. So what is the likelihood of you getting your money back and so on and so forth? That's what a credit rating agency will do. Asset management is basically how do you grow money that is invested into your assets, or how do you acquire more assets? Is it through debt or is it through cash? How do you do all of that? So those are some job roles available for CFAs out there. There's a lot more. I've only listed niche ones that are readily available and the most popular ones, but there's a lot of different job roles available out there for CFAs in India and globally. Someone is asking, what is the number for counseling? So you can just make a note of the number that you see at the bottom of your screen, and you can give us a call, or you can leave your number in the Q&A box and we will make sure to give you a call. Harsh is saying that he's in the final semester of BBA Banking and Finance and wants to start CFA Level 1 once he gets his passport and pursue it side by side. So you've also been placed? Yes, it is a good decision, Harsh. Best years to struggle, I would say, but it's a good decision. Well, someone is asking again if the CFA job is tough and pressurizing. Tough, no, because you have the skills to pull it off. Pressurizing, maybe, but it's also as rewarding, like I said earlier. Someone is talking about M&A in the YouTube chat, mergers and acquisitions. Yes, huge part of a CFA, of the CFA scope. Great. Where are CFA exams conducted and in which mode, Murtaza is asking. So CFA exams are conducted in a Prometric center. I think they happen in all, or I'm sure rather they happen in all metropolitan cities across the country, and they are computerized. So you have to go to the center and attempt through a computer the examination. Does better score help in getting a better package? Shreya is asking. Not necessarily, Shreya. I don't think that is the case. Perfect. Guys, I want to talk a little bit about placements, and then I'm going to open the floor for you all to ask me as many questions as you all want. Now, at Zell, we are partnered with a number of institutes that you see on your screen. And what we do with them is basically they have certain openings in their organization, and they reach out to us saying, okay, we have 50 openings in the risk advisory department or the risk department. Do you have candidates who you would like to place with us? So what we do is when we receive when we receive this communication, we basically pass it along to all of our students, and we help you get placed. And these are some companies that we work with, but there are also other companies that we actively work with to ensure that we are able to place you all. All right, with that being said, I have covered everything that I wanted to cover in my discussion today, what I had planned for all of you. Now I'm going to open the floor to all of y'all. So if y'all raise your hand, I will allow you all to unmute and ask me a question. And yeah, I'll allow you all to unmute. So we're going to have this session for another 10 to 15 minutes. So y'all can raise your hand. Hi, Bharat. Hello. Go ahead, Bharat. Okay. Hi, Abhishek.
Hello, hi sir.
Hi, Abhishek. How are you?
Fine, sir. You fine?
Yeah, thanks for asking. Tell me.
So your session is wonderful. It's knowledgeable.
Thank you, Abhishek.
I got confused. CA or CFA is better. I don't know difference between both. Now I can understand what is the CA, what is the CFA, which is better.
So Abhishek, what it is that you're doing right now, if I may ask?
I completed MBA Finance and Marketing recently. I joined in Bajaj Allianz Life Insurance, sir.
Okay. So
Currently,
why are you?
yes, sir.
So do you have an idea of where it is that you want to end up in? Like what it is the role that you want to work in?
What, sir?
I'm asking if you know what you want to get into. So what is the purpose or what is the reason for you exploring, a CA or a CFA course, if I may ask?
Sir, before I completing my graduation, I choose CA, sir, Chartered Accountant.
Okay.
Yes, sir, choose. But in my family background financial is weak, so I couldn't do the CA. Yes.
Okay. So Abhishek, what I would recommend you do is you get in touch with us personally after this session. I would recommend you to do CFA, but for me to make that recommendation, I think I would have to understand your background a little bit better. But CFA will help you unlock a career in the finance domain. I think you already are in the finance domain. I didn't catch where you're working, but how about you get in touch with us one-to-one after this session? If you want, you can ask them to connect you with me, and I would like to.
Yes, sir. I will touch with the Zell Education. Now only I get from Zell Education. I know more about Zell Education and CFA, sir.
Okay, great. Okay, Abhishek. Is there anything else I can help with?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Hi, Chirag. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Chirag. Right now, I'm like in third year of my BTech.
Okay.
And I'm doing my BTech in computer engineering. And like I was planning to go for CFA, but then according but simultaneously I even want to go for my job placement. So like, can you please like give me a bit like I'm doing computer engineering from
Okay.
KJ.
Which year are you in with
I'm
respect
in
to?
third year of my engineering, and next year in August I will be having my placements. So
Okay.
I just wanted to ask to you, like in the month of June, I'll be having my placements. So
Okay.
what would be the preparation duration which I need to give for the examination?
Okay. So, Chirag, number one, given that you have an engineering background, it will take you at least 6 months to prepare for CFA Level 1. Assuming you start today, you can probably look at writing your CFA Level 1 exam in the month of August. So that is the first bit. It will take you at least 6 months to prepare. The second bit is, I think you're asking me if you can balance CFA with a job, right?
Like right now, I need to prepare for my placements as well, na?
Yes. So you would like to, of course, I'm assuming you will get placed, and I hope you do. After that, you would like to work in your job and also pursue CFA, right? And you're asking if this is possible
Yeah,
or not.
yeah, yeah. That is the second thing. First thing which I need to ask is I will be preparing for my placement. So what time I need to give at least for the preparation, and I am having
Okay.
my
Are
placements from
you?
June to July, so that 2 months I won't be having time to prepare for my exams. So will it be able to
Hmm.
cope up with the two
So
things at the
I'll
same
I'll
time?
I'll make it very simple for you, Chirag. You will need to at least put uh 8 to 10 hours a week, a total of 8 to 10 hours a week into studying. Now you can decide depending on your schedule how you want to put in the 8 to 10 hours. Maybe you could go for 2 hours on Monday and then 3 hours on Wednesday, and you can come up with a combination that works for you. But you need to put in 8 to 10 hours a week, and how you manage it essentially comes down to your schedule. But if you do that, you should be able to pass the level 1 exam in one go. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, thanks, Chirag.
Thank you.
Uh, Hi, Anubhav. Go ahead.
Hi, Rishil. Actually, I have already enrolled for the CFA Level 1 course at Zell
Mm-hmm.
Education.
Mm-hmm.
So I did a little bit of research and I got to know that it takes approximately 300 to 400 hours of study to clear Level 1.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that will be apart from the coaching classes, or it will be included in that only.
So I believe most of it is inclusive in your live session. So
Mm.
if you're attending your live sessions, then what I said to Chirag before you, that also
Mm.
applies. So you need to put in 10 to 12 hours on your end. 200 to 300 is what we are giving you. And on
Okay.
over and above that, you also need to put 10 to 12 hours at your end to pass the exam.
10 to 12 hours a week.
Yes. If you
Okay.
have more time in hand, I would suggest more, but 10 to 12 is the bare minimum that I would recommend. Because it's very important,
Yeah.
Anubhav, I don't know if you're enrolled into a batch right now, but it's very important that you're able to retain concepts. And retention
Right.
only happens through constant reading, constant
Yeah.
question solving. So you need to put in 10 to 12 hours a week. If you're taught a concept in class, go back, practice it, and it'll help you.
Actually, I guess my classes haven't started and I haven't been allotted a
Ah,
batch yet.
okay.
It
Okay.
will start from February most probably.
Got it. Got
So
it. So
I'll have to
look at
complete
putting
the
in. Uh-huh.
I'll have to complete the basic finance course and that Excel course first. Right.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Anubhav, I wish you luck, and
Thank you.
I'll probably see you around. Yeah. Good luck. I'll take one more question, guys, and then that is my time for the day. Hi, Aditi. Go ahead.
Sir,
Hi, Aditi.
yeah, hi. So I was asking, like, I'm in class 12 right now, and I'm good at accounts. Like, accounts background is good of mine, but maths is really very, very, very weak. Math is
Mhm.
very bad. Accounts is very good. So can I do CFA? Like, will I able to crack it?
Well, to answer your question, you will have to put efforts into getting better at basic math. So when I say basic math, you need to know how to solve brackets. You need to know how to do cross multiplication. You need to know all those basics. Now, the second aspect of it is you will have a calculator with you in the exam. That will do most of your solving for you. So when you talk about NPV, IRR, and these sorts of concepts, without going too technical, most of these sums will be solved by you through your calculator, where you only have to input the numbers. Okay, this is the present value amount. I don't know the future value of this amount. This is my rate of return. This is my number of years. So you just have to input the numbers, and the calculator does it for you. But you will need to know the basics of mathematics. So you'll have to put in some work, but it's manageable.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
No problem. Okay, guys, I believe that is my time. Thank you to everyone for joining in for today's session. Those who've joined through Zoom and those who've joined through YouTube, thanks a lot for joining in. We've answered well over 150 questions. However, this is not the end of our conversation. We will keep the conversation going. So you can reach out to us at the number that you see on your screen at any point if you want one-to-one counseling. You can ask for any help that you need with respect to any of these courses, and the counselors will be more than happy to help you out. You alternatively, if you want to speak to me, you can connect with me directly through LinkedIn. My name is Rushil. You can search for me. I work at Zell, so you'll be able to find me, and you can connect with me, and I will be more than happy to help you out on a one-to-one basis. Thank you so much for attending, and good luck to all of you all.